I usually don't do match reviews here on the YouTube channel, but I think we learned a lot from Barcelona's 4-0 win over Mallorca. What we learned could reveal a bit about where Barcelona are coming out of the break, and how they will navigate at least the last 10 matches of the La Liga campaign. So today, I'm going to break down some tactics and give out player grades. So without much further ado, I'm Dan Hilton. This is the Barcelona Podcast YouTube exclusive. Coming into the game, Messi and Luis Suarez were the two talking points. How healthy would they be? How many minutes would they get? In the case of Messi, when Quique Setién said he was good to go, we probably should have believed him. Prior to the break, he had 19 goals and 12 assists in the Liga in 22 appearances. So yeah, he was going to play. Barcelona wanted the 3 points. I know the first goal came in the second minute, but let's talk tactics first. Barcelona were set up in their traditional 4-3-3, and Mallorca was defending in a 4-4-2. I say it this way because Barcelona had 71% of the possession in the first half, and only one player on Mallorca looked any bit threatening in that first half, Takefusa Kubo. I know, my heart still hurts too. Many of the themes of Antoine Griezmann's Barça tenure before the break continued into this performance. He played as a false nine at times, with Braithwaite farther forward on his left, and either Messi or Sergio Roberto often farther forward on his right. When Barcelona gave up a little possession to Mallorca in the first half, Griezmann dropped back into almost a 4-5-1 defensively, as the right side of that 5 in the middle, allowing Messi to save his legs up top. The first grade I want to hand out in this one is for Quique Setién, who won the tactical battle against Vicente Moreno and earns a 9 out of 10 for the game for me. He couldn't have known that Moreno was going to start Juan Sastre, a natural right back who had only played left back once this season on that left side. But that's where Barcelona started the game capitalizing on. Arturo Vidal was hugging that right sideline at times, allowing Messi to float in the middle, always preparing to set up the numerical advantage on the right side with Roberto and Vidal. Moreno countered by pushing Sevilla and Pedraza closer to the right side to even things out, but Setién, or maybe Messi, countered right back by playing the ball more through Messi in the center of the park. In the first half, Mallorca allowed Ronald Araújo, playing as a left-sided center back, to dribble forward, and his short-range and medium-range passing was just good enough to get the field switched and open up the opposition. Alright, let's talk goals. Arturo Vidal gets the first one with a lot of credit owed to Frankie de Jong. De Jong won the ball back from Kubo, found Alba overlapping on the left, who crossed into the head of Vidal as he got inside positioning on Sastre. That all happened in the second minute. Griezmann was starting his near-post run and had a center back with him, and Pedraza was too slow to call out the run from Vidal and too late to offer help to Sastre in dealing with the cross. For the second goal, Martin Braithwaite's first with the Blaugrana, I again want to give credit to de Jong for helping to make this happen. I'm not sure who called it out, but Barcelona recognized that Mallorca wouldn't open things up, so they recycled the ball back to TER STEGEN, and the ball was once again worked up that right side. As Messi faded back into the middle of the field, de Jong checked his shoulder and found Messi, who played the through ball into Alba. Both de Jong and Messi kept their runs going upfield, so de Jong was there to head the ball into the box. Messi kept it alive, and Braithwaite, who had slipped into the middle once Messi dropped back to receive the ball, was left wide open to finish on a strong shot into the upper netting. It didn't hurt that between Griezmann, Messi, de Jong, and Alba, most of Mallorca's attention was in one place. Barca took their foot off the gas in the second half, but I think, as has been the case with all returning football this season, this many substitutes does mess with the flow of a game. Regardless, Barca kept probing. Jordi Alba stayed onside for a through ball from Messi, and the left back was able to, either through luck, skill, or a little bit of both, bring the ball into his own path for the third goal. Luis Suarez, who came on for Griezmann in the 57th minute, looked lively on arrival, and it always looked like Barca might get a fourth. Mallorca, even with all those subs, looked checked out that late in the game, so Araujo was able to juke Kubo and step into the midfield. He played a long ball to Suarez, who left the defender in the dust. The South American connection continued when Suarez immediately picked up his head in stride, located Messi, and the Argentine did the rest. Usually he does his dance along the 18 with his left foot, but this time it was his right. A little deflection was all she wrote. 4-0. Now let's get to the Barcelona player grades. Starting with Messi, it's a 9 for Messi's standards, but this would be a 10 performance for everybody else. I guess I'm punishing him for taking 30 minutes to find the game, but once he did, Barca weren't going to lose. 9 dribbles in the game, 2 for the next closest player. 1 goal, 2 assists. Messi is just so good. He's the man of the match. He allowed Braithwaite and Messi to have the impact that they did. Maybe he tried a few too many dummy runs. maybe he didn't have enough playmaking in the final third, but he did his job. He attracted attention from everyone else. He made unselfish run after unselfish run, and he defended so Messi didn't have to. He was quiet in the first part of the game, even with Barca up 1-0, but I was really impressed with his movement off of Griezmann and Messi. We know that he's going to put in a shift defensively, but his technical skills never let him down. He worked as hard as you'd expect, and he got his first Barca goal in exactly the way you would expect. I really wanted to give him man of the match, but of course, Messi. But the more Frankie de Jong found the game, the more Barcelona found the game. Much like Braithwaite, I was really impressed with his movement off of Messi and the way in which de Jong found space for numerical overloads for Barcelona. His defensive positioning was lacking at times, but his focus in the opposition's half of the field was the difference between Barcelona struggling in a close game and Barcelona slamming the door on this match. I thought about going lower than 8 for Vidal, but I found a hard time doing that after his goal and the fact that he only played 45 minutes. Thinking about the different player that Vidal is from de Jong and Busquets, the match against Mallorca showcases why Vidal just might be the better complement than some of the other options to de Jong and Busquets in the midfield. His goal had the power and timing of Barcelona's best goal-scoring option in the midfield. Barcelona were better than Mallorca, and Busquets had a quiet game by his standards. But quiet isn't a bad thing. Mallorca attempted to man-mark him with Dani Rodriguez, but he would time his runs so that just as Barcelona were regaining possession, Busquets made himself available to receive the ball. The man is just so smart, and he allowed de Jong and Messi to express themselves without clogging the midfield. He got the goal and was deadly offensively. I gave him a 7 because Mallorca's best chances also came down his wing. Kubo was unbelievably quick, but Alba has to be able to deal with him, and Alba's positioning upfield left Araújo exposed in the open field too many times in this game for my liking. That said, Barcelona were in control of this match, and Alba's full 90 minutes were relentless. Another big reason why Mallorca never really threatened in this match was Gerard Piqué. I think without the fans, you could really hear just how important Gerard Piqué is to Barcelona's back line. He dealt with the corners, organized the defense, and never really had to be that last line of defense because Barcelona snuffed out any Mallorca ideas early and often. This could have been higher for Araújo, but it could have also been lower. Ronald Araújo showed against Mallorca that he is exactly the player that culés that have been watching Barcelona be this year thought that he was. Araújo showed that he can dribble some, he can hit short-range and medium-range passes. He's pretty good in one-on-one battles, he's adept in the air. But Araújo does struggle with speedy, quick players like a Takefusa Kubo, and his long balls out to the wings is also suspect. All that said, it was a showing to be proud of, and a showing that put that red card in his debut firmly in the past. His timing with Vidal and Messi in this match was impeccable, and his work on the right side created plenty of Barca opportunities and 2 of the goals. He didn't really have to worry about much defensively because Dani Rodriguez, who was supposed to be the left winger, was too busy dealing with Sergio Busquets, and nobody else from Mallorca really troubled the Spaniard out wide. He was perfect as a goalkeeper, but he did struggle with some long balls in the second half, so I had to go with a 7 for that grade. He didn't need to make any miraculous saves in the match, but he does make the tough ones look easy. Marc-Andre ter Stegen, you can give him a 10. I can't go any lower than a 7. He played the second half for Barca, and it may not be his fault, but the team slowed down and he did play a part in that. Rakitic did make 1 or 2 passes to open things up, but largely he remained in his defensive shape, kept things stable, and recycled the ball to snuff out any Mallorca ideas. Suarez got an assist for Messi's goal, and he probably could have had 2 goals himself. He won't be used by Quique Setien as a super sub too often, but you can see that he looks fresh, especially in this cameo, and he is going to be essential to Barcelona's trophy chase. As for our final 3 subs, Nelson Semedo came in for Sergio Roberto, and he wasn't tested too much. Artur, meanwhile, came in for Sergio Busquets, which pushed Frankie de Jong back to the defensive midfield spot. His movement was important for Suarez and Messi, as it opened things up for that 4th goal. For our last sub, Junior Firpo made a short cameo at the end of the match, coming on for Frankie de Jong. While we didn't see much of him in this match, Alba will be suspended for Leganés on Tuesday, so Junior Firpo will get a little more time then. Alright, there it is, the match review for Barcelona's 4-0 win over Mallorca. They got the 3 points, and you got a match review. I don't plan on doing this too often, or maybe even ever again, but if I get enough likes and positive feedback, you could change my mind. If you want a full discussion, Francesca and I will be chatting about this and much more on the weekly podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. In the meantime, give us a like, a subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. And as always, until next time, Forza Barça!